Hey YouTube, this is Steve from IDP Plus, and it is week 13 of the NFL, and I'm here to help kind of navigate those waiver wire concerns you have for defensive players. We are talking defensive tackles, defensive ends, linebackers, and of course defensive backs to help you guys really get ready for this week. Now we've got a great slate of games coming up. We've got Thanksgiving, Turkey Day, you got Friday, you've got Sunday, Monday. There are a lot of games. Everyone is playing this week, so hopefully you're not having to deal with injuries. And hopefully these players are going to help you guys with some success. So let's go jump right into this. Now, I'm going to mention 5 players. Make it simple. I've got 5 players that I really like this week as far as players that are available to help you with your roster, because we are getting close to those fantasy playoffs, and hopefully every victory is getting you there closer and closer. Now, of course, if you want even more players there, make sure you guys check out idpplus.com. My article is on there. I've got even more players there, and you've got to take advantage of some promotions we've got going on, like 20% off if you use promo code PROPS to our subscriptions to have access to more. So jumping into the defensive tackle, the first player I'm going to mention is going to be Sieler for the Miami Dolphins. Look, Sieler's been pretty inconsistent this season. He's dealt with some injuries. He's missing, he's not playing as well as he was last season. Last season, he had 10 sacks, okay? But you got to give him some credit. He's getting very similar to that same success. It just doesn't look like it on paper, right? He's missed some time, he's missed some games, but his average per game in fantasy is actually very similar to what he did last season. And realistically, he's actually just had some really good, solid 2 weeks. In the last 2 weeks alone, he's averaging 11 fantasy points in those 2 weeks. He's gotten a sack in each of the last 2 games, which has been fantastic. And of course, as a defensive tackle, you need to rely on 2 things. Can you get pressure, quarterback hits, sacks, and of course, can you get at least, I would say in my mind, to have a good defensive tackle, 4 to 5 tackles, whether it be solo or assist. And Sieler's been doing a really good job, and I like his matchups coming up. He's actually done a really great job for the Miami Dolphins. The whole Dolphins team in general, ever since Tua's kind of been back, has looked a lot better. And because the offense has been able to keep on the field, it's allowing the defense to kind of rest and be really fully healthy and energized, which is benefit for Sieler. So I really like him this week. Now, jumping into the defensive end, I've got one player here I've kind of mentioned in the past, but again, it's been a little bit, and I'm going to mention Braden Fiske for the Rams. Now, he is a rookie, but he's done a great job so far this season, and it's kind of showing. He started off a little slow, getting accustomed to the NFL and how the speed is and what these obviously hogs are on the offensive line, but he's done a really good job, and he's starting to show up really, really well in the last few weeks. Look, right now, Fiske in the last few weeks has been averaging 12 points per game. He's had a total of 5 sacks as well in the last 3 games, which is fantastic. He's doing a great job. You've got Kobe Turner there. You've got Verse. You've got a lot of great players on that defensive line for the Rams. And Fiske is one of those players that is really starting to show up and show out. In the last 4 games, he's finished defensive end 6 so far in those last 4 games. He's behind players like Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson. He's doing a really good job. He's in great company. I really like Fiske. He's definitely someone you should consider putting on your roster. Now, jumping into the linebacker spot, I've got Nik Bonitto for the Denver Broncos. Okay, Bonitto has done a really great job, and the third-year linebacker has done amazing. He's really a strong defender, and he's been really playing well for the Denver Broncos. Now, here's some interesting stats for Bonitto. So far this season, he's hit double digits in sacks. He's got 10 sacks so far as a linebacker. He's had 4 sacks in the last 3 games. And which the craziest stat is, in the 12 games he has played so far this season, he's gotten a sack in 9 of the 12. That is amazing stats. Now, he's not going to wow you. He's definitely a better linebacker on deeper rosters, or if you've got maybe 2 or 3 linebackers on your roster and you're looking for that big play, that is what Bonitto has been able to do for the Denver Broncos. He's been amazing. He's been getting sacks. He's obviously getting some tackles here and there. And again, he's more boom or bust, but I really like Bonitto. He's definitely someone I would mention putting on your roster, or at least consider putting out there, just because his big playability is what's going to help you kind of move forward. Another linebacker I'm going to mention is going to be Jewell. I've mentioned him before. I've talked about him before, and he's done a really good job for Carolina Panthers. And now he has missed some time, and he obviously had a great season for the Denver Broncos. And if you actually look at his stats compared to last season, he's very similar to that. But because he's missed time, he's kind of been forgotten and he's been available in a lot of leagues. So if you're able to snatch him up, this is a great time to do that again right before the playoffs, because most people are probably got 2, maybe 3 weeks left and then the playoffs start. Jewell has actually been really good, and realistically, he's coming out of some 2 solid weeks. He had 15 total tackles so far in those 2 weeks. He's averaging about 12 points a game. And again, he's making big plays, right? He's getting after the quarterback. He's getting hits. He's getting pass deflections if you get into leagues that score like that. So really great player, should be considered, especially in situations where if maybe the Panthers are behind, and in most cases they're having to obviously stop the run a lot more often, and Jewell's been able to take advantage of it. All right. Now, my last player I'm going to mention as the top 5 that I feel you should get is going to be Harrison Smith for the Minnesota Vikings. I know one of the things I feel surprised about Harrison Smith is that his name typically had put him as I would say a very strong rostered player, and not this season. But he's actually done really well so far this season. Yes, he's an aging veteran. He's 13 years into the league, but he's done a really good job for the Minnesota Vikings. And looking at what he's done in the last, I think he's coming off an 11 tackle performance, right, this past week. He's had the ability to get some interceptions. He's creating turnovers. He's been a strong presence for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, players like Bynum have obviously shined really well. You've got Van Ginkel, who shined really well. Like, there's some other players for the Minnesota Vikings who have absolutely outshined Harrison Smith. But I think at this point, I'm not mentioning him just because of the name. If you're looking at what he's been able to do the last few weeks and where he's kind of growing in this, it's really the matchups in general. He's done a really good job of getting tackles. He's been able to get a couple interceptions. He's been getting, pass deflections. He's been making those type of plays. And if you're desperate at this, maybe you've got an injury like Whitehead for the, the Bucks, or maybe you've got some players who have been okay and you're just looking to make some changes for the season, Harrison Smith is definitely someone I like this week. So those are my top 5 players for the defensive players. Again, across the board. If you want to see more, make sure, again, go to idpplus.com. Take advantage of some promotions, some subscriptions. Go to check our Discord. Check for all the other, of course, articles out there. And, of course, make sure you guys just subscribe to the channel. We've got some great content. We're continuously pushing. Again, we got Turkey Week this week, so hopefully you guys are obviously having a great Turkey Week. Enjoy your time with family and friends. Enjoy those football games. Don't eat too much. Don't drink too much. And I'll check you guys out next time.
Thank you for watching the IDP Plus YouTube network. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Be sure to tap the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new content.